Hey you guys, it's Jordan here. Finally got around to making a video. I basically recorded like 17 minutes or something, and I accidentally pressed my OBS mute mic button, and it freaking yeah. You can fill in the rest, but anyways, I'll just basically say everything I said just really quickly because now I can cut out all the rambling. Um, Basically in this video I'm just going to be showing you guys a little bit of my process that I have so far, and kind of give a little bit of an update. A lot of you guys had a lot of questions, and I thanks a lot for all the nice comments. You guys are actually really really nicer than I expected. I thought you guys are going to be like, oh man, this guy's a fucking noob, like let's destroy him or something. I don't know, man. um Internet these days ain't looking too hot. Let me tell you guys that. But anyways, um, so yeah, pretty much I started this personal project called Watchtower, right? And it turned into this whole thing, where like basically I kind of got too far ahead of myself, and I ended up doing way more than I actually should have. This was supposed to be like a 1 or 2 month project at best, like at most, and I ended up, because my you know uh super smart brain, just I don't know, I when I was making all these things I didn't consider how long they could take. I didn't consider what I was exactly trying to do. Even it was just like, all right, I need to start doing something, because right now it's so easy. Like when I first started this project I was just like, God, if like I can easily just fall into playing games, you know, pretty much in all of my free time, and not really working up or brushing up on any of my skills. I didn't want to fall back into that trap. I kind of wanted to maintain some of the discipline I got from FZD. So I just, the main thing was to just do something, like and that pretty much was, that's what it was. But now I'm at this point where I'm like, man, I really want this to be on my portfolio, or like, you know, just be able to show something from this. So here we go. So basically what I was talking about here was basically the fact that I started off with a few sketches. I started, making reference boards, and basically gathering what I wanted it to look like. So I started off with a bunch of 2D sketches, because my perspective skills are just not the best yet. So what I do to like kind of accommodate for that is I would start, and well, what I do right now is I start in with 2D sketches, and I don't really consider what's going to be on the inside of the building, unless I know I'm going to want to do like a cutaway for it. So that's when I'll start breaking things into rooms, giving them names, and making it all pretty with like the little call outs, like, oh, this is this room and this is that room. And planning out, like, where a player would put, like, be able to walk through, or all that kind of stuff, right? I would only usually do that if I'm going to do a cutaway for the building, and that's just not what I wanted to do with this project. I wanted it to be, more exterior focused, because in my portfolio, like, I don't really have many exteriors. I might have like a cutaway of an exterior, like, which is basically an interior. But yeah, that's what I wanted to focus on this time. So here I have some sketches that I did before I hopped into 3D. At this point, I just kind of got more comfortable with the idea of the whole Watchtower thing, and you guys will see some of these ideas did kind of make it through. Well, pretty much just this one, and the other ones I kind of just abandoned. Um, Even though they might look nice, right? Like they have their own ideas and uh, functionality, whatever. But I don't know, for some of you guys who are more familiar with reference and how things look, medieval and all that kind of stuff, it might be a little bit more obvious which ones I used reference for and which ones I kind of just freestyled without any kind of, or not as much, I would say, which is the ones I use reference for, if you guys can't tell already, is this one, and this one. These ones were just to kind of play around with, you know, what if I didn't use reference? Like, what would this look like? I don't know. No, it was just more like just looking at different buildings and just kind of freestyle, like what would I change about them. Um, and I didn't do them for long because obviously, like, it was just burning a bunch more brain cells. And obviously, like, you know, right. I think this was like right. This was, I think this was literally like 4 months ago, which is not too long after I got out of FCD. So I was still kind of trying to relax and like not jump into things too much, which is I did exactly the opposite. So it ended up turning out like really, really, the project is just way bigger than it should have been. And you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about when I get into it. But basically, I start off with these sketches, and once I get my concept or idea as far as my 2D skills can pretty much take it from scratch at this point in my life at least. What I'll do is I'll hop into Blender, and then I'll just pretty much start to make it, and then whatever details I thought up that I wasn't able to draw, I'll try to block them in best I can in 3D, and then use that as a kind of jumping point to draw over it. So like, when it comes to your workflow, I'm no professional or anything like that, obviously, but like, well, yet, but anyways, like, when it comes to workflow, I just try to, like, I think the best thing is to um do things. See, I said this a lot better in my first video, this 17-minute video that just, I swear to God, dude, I'm pissed. I'm so tilted. Like, it's unbelievable. I just want to pick up this microphone and just toss it. But yeah, I just try to comment. Like, I try to, what's the word? Like, I try to accommodate. I don't know if that's the right word, English. I try to accommodate for the lack of really good 2D skills, and I try to get as far as I can with my 2D flat sketches, no perspective, and it just saves me the time and energy. You don't have to spend so much time trying to figure out, oh, like, if I started this house like this, I'm spending energy trying to figure out, like, oh, is this roof gonna be in perspective? Like right now I'll show you guys. So like right now I'm thinking, okay, like, for this roof to be in perspective, or this chimney, it's got to go like this. Oh no, it's probably got to go like that. And then I'm like worried about like details that I don't even really like. I'm spending energy trying to figure these things out rather than the design itself, if that makes any sense to you guys. So instead of dealing with that, I'd much rather just do what I can in 2D, and then once I start hitting that point where I'm like spending energy on the wrong things, I just hop into 3D, and then that's something I just don't have to worry about anymore. And this project is also like, it has a focus on the isometric kind of view. I really like the Pathfinder, the Divinity, and all that kind of stuff. Baldur's Gate. I really like the top-down games. I like seeing the environments. Like, there's this other game that came out called War Tales. I like seeing the interior designs and all that kind of stuff. So, from the top down. So I find that pretty interesting. So that's what I'm kind of focusing my portfolio on. And I talk about that a little bit more. But like, basically, once I get to this point, now I have to go through all my crappy files real quick and just hide all this stuff. So basically, once I get done with all of the sketching and I kind of have a general good idea of where I want to take things, man, this is all screwed up. I'll build it in 3D, just to kind of see, because my 3D skills are slightly better than my 2D. I think. I don't know what you guys think. Obviously, like, whatever. It depends on the situation, right? But yeah, I basically block it in 3D, and then that's where I start to do the draw over and stuff like that. So let me see if I can find the file. So here's a slightly more detailed. It's not like crazy. It was just really simple, but it's I'm just trying to see like what the silhouette looks like, what shapes are popping out the most, and then trying to figure out like, looking back at it, the tower is a little too big, so I would adjust the proportions a bit. I would make either the buildings bigger or the tower smaller. And I don't know if I've said this in this video or not, but the reason that these medieval buildings, just a little fun fact, I like to do these things for those of you who also like to, the medieval history stuff. Obviously, you'll forget this shit in like 2 minutes, but who cares, right? It's fun in the moment. So these roofs or roofs, I don't know how the plural, whatever. These roofs would basically be like a wizard hat, like a cone, but basically the functionality behind this, as far as my understanding goes, is that these usually when it snows, a lot of the snow would weigh down on the roof because it pack on top of it, and it can make things cave in. So what they would do to distribute the weight and kind of make it so that the snow couldn't build up as much and be as thick to weigh so much, they would make it so that it would fall, it would kind of slide down. The snow will slide down, and even if it does build up, it'll be easier for it to slide down once it starts to melt. So that kind of stops the weight from all just sitting there and then hoping that it all melts. And then I'm guessing like it probably makes it a little bit more dry. It makes it a little drier, so that the snow, when it melts, it just doesn't go through the roof. I don't know how that whole thing works as far as medieval technology and architecture goes, but I felt like that was a pretty fun fact. And if I got any of that wrong, I sound like a complete idiot. So but that's kind of what my channel is. I put myself out there and hope that someone else benefits from it, and if I sound stupid, then well, hey. I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, I'll go ahead and go back into 3D. So this is one of the other buildings that I was talking about, right? But we'll get to that shit later. Okay, so basically this is where I ended up taking it, and I don't know what caused me to kind of deviate from this or to stop working on it in general. I guess it was kind of like my sketch. Like, it was like, okay, like I'm a little warmed up now. I can move to something else. But like, yeah, I used some kit bash in here. So, if kit bash can help you get your ideas across or help you make sense of certain things, I definitely would consider using them, or use free assets online. Like, that's what we did in FCD. Obviously, we can't like sit here and 3D model everything, but towards the end of school, our teacher did warn us, like, don't over rely on 3D, like learn how to draw too, which I didn't ignore it. Like, if you're watching this, Kingston, don't hurt me, man. Listen, we were all, no, I'm not even gonna make excuses, because I remember what he said that one time. He was like, oh man, never mind. But yeah, trying not to ramble here. Yeah, I just kind of, with this one, I just thought like, all right, the camera would be up here. And then I started running into this issue with the roof, obviously, where it was just like way too tall. And it was just, I don't know, it was just getting kind of weird. And obviously I could have, because this project was supposed to be like like maybe a month at most, maybe 2 months. Considering the fact that I can't spend as much time as I did in school, that's one of the biggest things, right? Is that like in FZD, because we were only doing art and that only, like that alone, it was like, you could bust out stuff like this in like a day. Yeah, like I'm talking like way more than this, like, because it's 18 hours a day. You're literally just drawing and like designing and thinking and gathering reference. Whereas now, like, I have, a full-time job because, staying with the friends or staying with my friend's family. Obviously, I don't want to be in this room and just like jobless and trying to save money for moving out, blah, blah, blah. It's just like so many different factors that you have playing on you at once that you have to really be, yeah, it takes a lot of discipline, man. Like, I can't, like, I feel really guilty if I play the game or play games for like an hour or two and then I haven't worked on my stuff yet. So basically what I've done today is I got home from work at like, I'm doing graveyard shift, whatever, but I'm working from 9 to 5, and then I get here at 5. Right now it's like 8:30, so I was drawing for about an hour. I got something to eat, and here we are, because no one else is in the house, so I'm able to record without being paranoid that I sound like an idiot twice, in the house and online. Um, but yeah, it's just so many different factors that people really just I really wish that, like, when people have these art channels and they're showing off these studios, I wish they would bring up the fact that, like so I swear, like, I wouldn't be able to save up as much money as I do, as I am right now, if it weren't for my friend's family not charging me an arm and a leg to stay here, and like being understanding of the situation or whatever. Like, sure, like, they people could want you to be like, okay, like, you say you want to be a concept artist and you're working towards that every day, but like, to them it's just like you sitting at your computer. They can't distinguish the time between you playing games, talking to friends playing games, or talking to friends drawing. Like, it's just, all those things are just, it's so many different factors. I wish people would talk about that more, man. Like, whenever I'm like, it just makes you feel like less of a loser, man. Like, just realizing that people don't have these things overnight, as far as being like having a sustainable income off of their design or art or freelancing, whatever, having their Etsy shops. It's just really irritating sometimes that I'm not like saying I get pissed off, but like, I just wish people would kind of be a little bit more transparent, because you have the whole thing with my channel. I just try to be realistic, right? I don't try to sugarcoat, like, be like, oh, I did this, it was all fucking easy, like, it didn't take any effort. Like, there's probably some kid out there that's looking at that thinking, like, if they don't have it as quickly, as easy, and like fast as you did, they're probably thinking they can never do it. With how things are, like, people show the end product, they don't show what led up to it and what struggles. I mean, they might go into it vaguely, but that shit goes one ear out the other. I'm rambling, sorry, I'm so sorry. God damn, that was a long ramble, dude. I don't know how you guys, oh man, dude, fuck me. um so yeah, basically, yeah, this was the first idea, and it was supposed to be, the watchtower thing. But I guess I wasn't feeling it. I still, to this day, don't know why I haven't moved on with this. And I think I showed friends this like months ago. But in between now and then, I've had, an art test for one art studio that was kind of not. I'll talk about it later. Um, learning how to drive, because I was a dipshit in high school. I didn't pay attention to driver's ed, so I'm trying to unlock the fast travel option for real life, because I can't really do anything outside of work when I have to be on a bus for an hour. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to go anywhere. It's like, but if I had a car, I could get there in like 2 minutes. It's bullshit. It's like, oh man, dude, guys, if you're in high school, man, just pay it. But god damn it, at the least learn how to drive. At the least, like, learn how to drive, dude. Man, if only, if only. um. Okay. Anyways, so this was one of the I think this was my second one. So I'll show you some of the progress shots that I took, so that you can kind of see how it came to where it is now. Let me see. I know I have pictures somewhere. Some pictures. Okay. Okay, so this was basically that block out for that. And I didn't do sketches for this. I wasn't doing sketches for this, so this was purely from 3D and just moving shapes around, which seems to be a little quicker for me. I'm a little quicker than I am in 2D, but I get so jealous of people just being able to draw things, and it just, here I am moving things around in 3D. Like, I really need to step up my game with drawing. Seriously. Like, I don't know. Man, dude. I don't even know if that's considered a ramble or not at this point, man. I'm just all over the place. But yeah, this was basically the first like iteration or 3D that I came up with, and I was just like, oh, this looks kind of cool, but like, I'll come back to it later. Um, so yeah, and this is kind of where I ended up. Now, usually on these, like I said, in Pathfinder, you're not seeing more than one angle on a building. You can't rotate the screen. You're only seeing things from one angle. But my dumbass, I was just like, dude, but what if I did more? So I did like I kind of designed the other side too. So now I'm sitting here. Now I'm sitting here with two sides of a building, and I'm sitting here like, okay, do I full render this? Do I just make it like a sketch? Because the whole it's like a chicken or the egg thing with being a concept artist or wanting to get into that field sometimes, because you can have these really polished drawings, but like you start leaning, you'll kind of be looked at more as like an illustrator, I would imagine, than a concept artist, because a concept artist is supposed to get ideas out there quick and like explore all these crazy ideas that make you, you know, start to think and all that kind of stuff. Whereas like spending all the time polishing things, it just feels really weird to me. I don't know why. Like I don't mind like it's fun. It is fun, but like in the back of my mind I'm just like, I think on my portfolio I want to show the ability to make a bunch of ideas that are good rather than one that's like really good, if that makes any sense. Not saying this is like some god tier building or anything like, but you know, I think some of you guys get what I mean. Like towards the end it'll start to make sense, because I've basically taken one of these and started to render on it, and I've been working on it for like a few weeks, maybe like almost a month. And this is because, you know, I have to balance kind of everything else that I'm dealing with, and then coming home and then just drawing for at least like I try to, right now I'm trying to aim for like 2.5 hours a day, which is, god, compared to FZD it's like 9 times less. It's like nothing will satisfy that hunger ever again. It's so weird, like, man. And I don't want to, like, I don't even know if I said it earlier, but like it's really tough when like if it were up to me, right? If what I'd like to do is get, you know, like a part-time job so that I can come, like I can stay here. But like I said, I'm in a friend's family's house, you know, like, and I want to respect, like, you know, they're letting me stay here. They're not charging an arm and a leg, like I said. So like I should try to save up as much money as I can for when I am on my own. And then it's like, oh, but like, what if this or that? Seriously, dude, there's so many fucking factors that go into like every decision. I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm getting too personal, but yeah, with this one I didn't really have any kind of real idea. As you can see, like there's still kind of a watchtower there, and I kind of kept that from here. Like I said, it the main thing between these two, I would say, is the fact that the proportions are adjusted on that one. You know, the shapes look a lot more, I guess the proportions seem to be more cohesive, if that makes sense. Like the tower isn't too big, the building isn't too small, whereas this one was kind of like that. The tower was too big and the buildings are too small. Even though these are to scale, like with you know, an archer shooting out of it from, you know, 360 degrees or whatever, and like I even have human scale up here. Like if this was an attic and it had windows on all sides, like what would that kind of be like? With this one, it could be anything. You know, I didn't really consider what the interior would be. I vaguely thought about what would be in the interior, but it could be anything. It could be you know, a school. It could be some kind of alchemy school. It could be, you know, some kind of magic school, whatever. A college, a university, a library. It could be so many things. A market hall or something. It could be a church. It could be anything. There's nothing about the building that gives what the identity is. If I were to critique that, you know, from a function standpoint, I would just be like, yeah, there's not much that shows what goes on in this building. You know, as cool as it can look, like it doesn't really have an identity. It's just like building number 15. You know, it doesn't have a lot of personalization to it. So yeah, that's what I would give myself as far as critique there. So like I hope that kind of helps somebody. Yeah, and I had this like kind of raised entrance at the back. I thought that'd be pretty cool, and I had the, you know, the windows in the back, and like hinted at some kind of study being up here, where like there's like a small roof area, and up here is some kind of office or something. Who knows? So yeah, so now I'm sitting here with two buildings, and I'm just like, oh man, that looks really cool. Like I'm glad with how that came out. And I don't even think I started. This was the third one that I did. So this is the other one. So like I said, this one doesn't really have any real identity, but it does have the towers in it. So I did at least keep the tower part in there somewhere. But past that, like there's no real identity for the building, which I kind of I mean, at this phase, it's almost like I won't say impossible, but like it's gonna be really hard without banners and graphics and you know, like if you look back at this sketch that I did before, the sketches that I did before, you could at least see on this one it had some kind of hammer logo on there, so like it probably has something to do with crafting or you know, some kind of craft. And there's like a bunch of chimneys, so maybe those are like multiple furnaces that are lined up on the inside where they have that, and then on the second floor is all their, you know, living quarters, and they all live up there, like, and it's like a crafters guild where, you know, you have your master crafters working downstairs, and then at the end of the day they sleep upstairs, and then they have their you know, hired guards that kind of keep guard upstairs with the mounted crossbows or ballistas, I guess you could even call them, with some kind of head crafter at the top with a bunch of, you know, crazy stuff going on upstairs. Um, Obviously it's easy to say like, oh, it could have this and that and this and that, but like when it comes to actually designing those things, that is a whole goddamn different story, man. It's like I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm cursing, man. I'm tired at this point, so the filter starts to go away. But yeah, this was and then like I said, in Pathfinder you usually only see one angle of a building. What did I do? I go and design the back of it. Like what is going on here? So now I'm in this predicament where like, okay, I don't want to draw the same building four times to show like the detail that I did on the front and the detail I did on the back and the detail I did on the side, but like it's like if you don't, you kind of wasted that time. uh so yeah, that's you know, I don't know I still don't know what I'm gonna do with this, because I was considering, I have one that I've added full color to and all that kind of stuff, and with how long that's taken me so long, I'm thinking about keeping these just black and white, like grayscale or something. But it'd be so nice if it had color, but just with how long it's taken me with the color on the other one, um, and adding stuff to it, like I think I might just keep these as quote sketches, even though they're like so much. I think these are past sketches. Like you would only get to this phase if like in a I'm trying to think in an industry pipeline, because that's like one of the biggest reasons I want to learn how to draw in perspective better, is because, you know, people don't always want a 3D model, like, or not a 3D model even. They don't want the amount of investment as far as time goes that you have to put into this before actually having like a real drawing or like something that people can give the green light on. Like this would take probably, I want to say this took me roughly 8 to 12 hours, maybe 15 if I'm pushing it, because I'm trying to account for like all the time I got distracted while I was working on it and like all that kind of stuff. That's where keeping personal timers comes in handy really, is because like I've been recording my time for the past few weeks, and I think I've logged like 22 hours, and I swear I think that's literally on that one building I said that I added all the color and stuff to. um so like, yeah, and it's just like realistically that's like 3 work days or whatever, but like you get what I'm saying. Like it really doesn't take that long, but it does because of all of life's other, you know, time requirements. You have all these side quests, and you have all these, you know, these I don't know, NPC characters trying to piss you off. You know, like you have to stay focused and like manage your energy, like as far God, I found that sound like a, like manage your I don't know, your focus, right? You can only have so much focus probably at once, right? So like it's constantly divided and split between so many different things, and you're always just kind of trying to prioritize different things, and sometimes things might slip over you, you know, having that drawing session that day, which can, I know it throws my whole day off, dude. I'll be absent minded at work and kind of just don't pay attention to certain things, and yeah, it's just I gotta draw. Like, I don't know. If I don't, like, I go to work and I'm just thinking like, holy shit, I didn't draw today. I'm such a piece of shit. I don't know, but it's fun. Like, I'm being very careful not to burn myself out. So here's another one. Same thing. It has some kind of watchtower on it. As far as personal identity, you don't know if it's a blacksmith house, you don't know if it's a church, you don't know if it's a chapel, you don't know if it's a school, university. Like, it just doesn't have that personal set dressing at the small human scale. There's no furnace, there's no workbenches outside. Obviously, I could do all that, but like, it's like for all of these, this would have to be its own like what do they call it when you have a subscription? Like, it's you have yearly and then you have like bi-yearly, or no, you have annual. What's the other one called? Biannual, double annual, or something, and then you have monthly. This would be like a 6 month project pretty much if I wanted to get them all to the same level of like finishing, adding like character and, like, you know, grass and drawing all that stuff in. I've really been trying to find a sweet spot where I can have the fun of rendering and all that without it taking so much time. There's this YouTube channel I found, like, called Blue Turtle. I listen to the music all the time, but I feel like the style is really simplistic, and it's, I think, one of my classmates, Cookie, she called it like single cell shading or something like that, and I really like the look. So I'm kind of trying to see if I can find some, like I said, a sweet spot where I can have that kind of expression but still be able to finish things pretty quickly. Man, I really want to take some brainstorm classes so I can, like, try to fill in the gaps here, because FZD did teach me a lot, but with how I digested all the information, like, obviously, if anyone can always learn more. Anyone can always learn more, and like, obviously I have hobbies outside of drawing. Like, I'm learning Spanish. I'm trying to keep my Chinese at least like an not, it's not even like okay, it's like really bad. I only know how to say, like, on Duolingo, I think for some reason they're teaching me how to say they're happy, he's happy, what's your last name, I know your last name, I also know his last name, they're happy, ni hao, like random stuff like that. Whereas Spanish, god damn it, dude, I'm going off again. We're in 33 minutes. Holy shit. All right, I promise this won't be an hour. I'm so sorry. And then here's the other one. I decided, instead of a watchtower, I just do like some kind of house. This one almost has a personality and some kind of recognition because of the trading windows. These kind of, like, you wouldn't have market windows like that on a, so it's kind of like a half house, half market shop, or, you know, shop on the house. So that kind of gives it that recognition, for that specific, what's the word I'm looking for? It has characteristics that kind of point towards the direction of market or salesman, or, you know, something like that. That kind of supports that a little bit. Otherwise, that's like, who would want a house that has windows that open up like that if you're not selling something, right? And then, of course, my dumbass went and designed, like, did the front and the back. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show some of the work in progress, blah, 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 the work in progress for some of these. So, for the house, this is what it looked like at first. So that was the block-in, you know. So instead of doing sketches, I just kept messing around with shapes, random shapes, and let me see. Let me see here. Okay, I can't really see it here. So yeah, that was like the back of it. Um, yeah, this was another angle. So like you can see, I was still playing around with that open space, but I wanted it to be open so you could see that there's actually like a trading window there. With the as cool as this like cover would have been, it just really covered. There wasn't enough information that could be shown here that would lead to that, unless you had a cool like shop sign here, and you know you had some like if it were like a flower lady or something, you'd have a bunch of like plant pots and like all the different colored flowers, and you know your big cool sign with the flower on it that says, "Oh, flowers here for potions," and yeah. And let me see if I have any other. Oh, this is something else I tried out. I was gonna play with the idea of like this shop on the bottom floor, and then there's like a spot that goes upstairs. So like I guess that's kind of the cool part of being able to do it in like concept in 3D is like you can make stuff like this pretty quick because you just move stuff around. Whereas like if you're drawing, you have to like figure out the perspective, and it's all dependent on your understanding of how perspective works, how quickly you can get these things done. Whereas in my case, I'd rather just use 3D with my current skills and understanding, and just be able to move things around as quick as I can and just play with different things. So yeah, let me see. Yeah, here was another angle, and I was just, as you can see, I have the human scale in the window. Like if you stand next to a window, depending on your house, it could be at your your hip level. It could be the bottom of the window. I mean, it could be at your hip. It can be at your your stomach. Let me actually stand up and see this one. Let's see where it is because I'm curious. Yeah, so that one's the window in this room is slightly above the belly button. So it just all depends. It depends what kind of reference you're looking at, blah, blah, blah. I really, my voice is starting to get shot. I feel like my throat hurts. Pause. Pause. Okay, let me see. Yeah, this was pretty early. I still didn't, yeah. This is pretty much the same one. So yeah, I went from that to this, or holy shit, to this one. So yeah, it's just really you just keep moving things around until basically like a sketch. You just keep moving stuff around. So I'll show the stuff for this one. So this one I think was pretty dramatic as far as the changes go. I think. Yeah. So this is the initial like block in for it. Like if you look at this, you really just want to come up with the bigger shapes before you start adding all the detail in it. If I were to give any advice here, if the bigger shapes look cool, then the detail inside of it should follow, with that. So yeah, that's pretty much how this one ended up being. And then I have one more progress shot for this one. I think, yeah. Yeah, I have one more, which is this one. So you could see this one's a lot closer to that. And what I did with the tiles is really weird, right? Because I didn't, when I came, I'll talk about it later, but how I'm handling tiles right now, I just kind of manually placed, like, of course I use like arrays, and then I separate all the objects to separate parts, and then I just move them around a little bit, and some of them I just keep in a straight line. But it's really weird when you start looking at it from this angle, because I was gonna go to do a draw over on this one, and I'm just looking at like this, and it just looks really messy to me, like how these are all like clipping there. It looks really strange. I don't know why, so I'm still trying to figure that out. So you're always just, you're, oh man, I like, I don't know. I'd love to see, if any of you guys are doing, personal projects, I'd love to see it. I don't mind giving, some basic feedback if I can. You can always send it to my Instagram. Though I will say, like, sometimes I'll probably just send a voice message instead of a text, which can be a little time consuming for you guys to listen to. Like it'll probably be like a minute long or something. But I think that's just better than a wall of text. I don't know. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. But I really like getting messages from you guys. You know, when you guys tell me, you know, I hope you're not bald anymore or something like that, it makes me feel good. Keep in mind, that's another thing, dude. That's another thing too. God, like, life threw me a wild, like the biggest jab out of nowhere. I suddenly started getting patches in my head when I was in FCD. What the fuck? Like I have no family history of random balding at like 20. Dude, where did this come from? I asked my dermatologist that I can only afford because of the healthcare at the job that I'm at right now, which is like, that on its own is like conflict. Like it's like, dude, whenever I do leave this place, I won't have all the like the healthcare, so I'm trying to use it while I have it. Dude, it's so fun. Dude, healthcare in America, holy shit. Anyways, yeah, I asked him, I was like, yo, where could this have come from? And he's like, oh yeah, your body just does it. Dude, what? Like, I'm no doctor, but like, yeah, like that's all you got. It's like there's nothing I ate, bro, like that could have, I don't know. So like, yeah, that's another reason that I've kind of been compelled to stay at this job, is so that I could get the antibiotics that would have cost apparently like $400, but with the healthcare or whatever, it cost me like 60. Dude, guys, don't go bald. I'm telling you. If you like, I don't even know if my hair's gonna come back. That's the crazy part. I might have to be bald. If I'm bald, dude, I have to like balance it. I have to get like in shape or something. You know, like there's no way. All right, whatever. Sorry, I'm ranting again. But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, when it comes to this, it's really just, there's so many different problems that just come up randomly that you'll just have to solve along the way that are probably not even design related. They're just probably small stuff like that as far as presentation. Obviously, someone would get the idea that this is a tile roof, but like if the tiles look all like jagged and weird like on the sides, like I need to find more reference for that kind of stuff before I, especially with it being that close. So for this one, I think this one was pretty straightforward. I came up with the idea of it like a kind of L-shaped building pretty early. So I'll go ahead and get the, let me see. Yeah, so this one came to me pretty easy. It was kind of like this from the start. But once I kind of got happy with the shapes, I just started moving in for that. And I decided to, like, at the last second, add another big shape there, because I felt like it was just kind of weird. It could be the camera angle, too. But I was just really just trying to break all the, like, weird shapes. So, I mean, dude, I honestly think this looks pretty cool. I won't lie. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. But how I'm gonna finish all this, dude, I have no idea. I don't know how I'm gonna present. Like, dude, oh my god, it's gonna take so long. It's gonna take so long. It's gonna take like forever. I'm gonna have a damn beard by the time I finish this stuff. Like, at 2 hours a day, dude. Like, I spend 2 hours trying to figure out like camera angles. Sometimes, like, well, not 2 hours, but like, you get what I mean. Some of the smallest things can be so time consuming, and then it's like, I showed my friends these buildings at these exact same stages with maybe a few tweaks here and there like 2 months ago, and I'm just now getting around to like making it look decent, like drawing it and doing the like FZD style, like, you know, whatever. So now that I've done that, I'll show you guys one of them, which is the house that I've kind of taken the time to do the sketch for. The lines and all that. So here's one. I really like how simple it looks. I don't really want to take it too far past this. I really don't. God, dude, like, and some of you guys are probably wondering, like, well, how could you do that? You could add like subtle color differences. Like, you could see where I tried to make it look concepty, but not like illustration. Like, obviously these tiles are just I just skewed them into place and then just drew over them a little bit because that's not the focal point. Like the focal point is just the architecture and the building and all that. Um, and obviously the 3D model didn't have. Dude, this plant looks like a. Oh no, okay, no, it doesn't. Obviously like the 3D model didn't have all the grass and the little rocks around, so like I added that stuff on my own, and then the color, like for some reason it didn't occur to me to pick color on this because I like the gray, how it looks gray. I feel like when you start adding flat colors to it, it just kind of like loses a little bit of the charm. Like if I were to add, yeah, see, I even tried adding some colors here. Did I actually? I don't know. But yeah, you could see this thing had. I think that's part of what took me so long. I'll try a different approach with that. But I basically took it from this exact like angle, right? So I took it from this angle, did the draw over, added the colors manually, and then added all of the the flowers and the grass and the rocks and all that kind of stuff to just by drawing. And I didn't try to like make it look perfect or anything. This is a side view, so like usually I've seen sometimes there'll be like side views for these things, and like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to sit here drawing the same building. Like if I feel like this is acceptable, right? If I gave them this and then I also have the 3D model for it, I'm pretty sure that you can put two and two together, right? Like if I give you this plus a 3D model, it's like an interactive. Like imagine someone who doesn't have the best drawing ability, like your boy. Like you can allow them to move things around. Like this is something I realized from talking to one of my friends. He had he worked with some guys, and like it was easy for them to move things around, and they could see how it would look in real time rather than having you sit there and sketch it, resketch this chimney on the other side. You can literally just grab the chimney, G, X axis, slide that motherfucker. Slide it on the other side of the roof, and then boom. Okay, it doesn't look that nice. Let me move it back. It's like a 2-second adjustment. So 3D does have its benefits, but like as far as where they go and where they are, I don't know, because every company is different. So what I have a few companies that I really like as far as style, and that's Pathfinder and all that kind of stuff, but I really have to pay attention to whatever concept art comes out and see like if I can break it down to make it make sense for me. So yeah, and then I have these two, and then this is the front of the house. So this one, I won't lie, I like the other one better. With this one, I tried like a gradient on the roof a little bit, and I just like the flatness of this one. Like I feel like the gradient starts to add a level of detail that's a little bit more on the realistic side. I'm not too sure. And then something's bothering me about this like little this thing. Like obviously that wasn't there in the 3D, so I kind of just drew in some rocks and like added this little, I don't know, like kind of garage, and I drew in like some tools. But like oh man. But yeah, I don't want to make it so super detailed like I did on my school or whatever, on like my school page. So like if I go to, oh yeah, I was looking at some of you guys' comments, because I know one of you guys commented something that made me really want to address it in whatever video I made next, but I couldn't find the comment after looking for like 20 minutes. Dude, if I go to sleep for 8 hours right now, I'll wake up, let me see, 3, dude, I'd wake up at 5 o'clock. Holy shit. I'd wake up at 5. So if I went to sleep, alright, if I were to end the video now, I would wake up at 5 p.m. if getting a full 8 hours, right? I leave out for work at 8 o'clock. This is the shit I'm talking about, dude. It's so tilting, actually. Like, if I get home, I have to, like, I was supposed to be in bed, like, 2 hours ago. But my dumbass wanted to make this video. Now I'm gonna suffer. Now I'm gonna, like, cry myself to sleep or something. Alright, so here's my page, right? My art station. And, like, stuff like this, was like like this felt like more like an illustration or something than like a concept. I did like all of this detail that I had in the textures and all that. Like, sure, it helps, but like, dude, I don't know, man. I felt like all the time that I was putting into making all that stuff look really neat could have been put into like more concepts, you know? Like I'd rather keep it at this level. You see it, it's a yes or a no, and like, what do you want me to adjust? What do you want me to take away? What would you like to me to add? You know, blah blah blah. So like, to get to this phase right here probably took, like I said, like to do this to do the side view stuff. That stuff probably took me a long time, like maybe 30 plus hours. So 30 plus hours over, holy shit, we're at 50 minutes. Dude, I swear to God, I swear that timer just said 30 minutes and out of nowhere it was 50. Dude, what is this? Yeah, so that 30 hours is like 2 hours, 3 hours a day, you know, and then like your whole day's gone, blah blah blah. So like it's really weird. You know, you just draw all day and then, oh shit, now I gotta go to work, like gotta get my uniform on. So it's really hard to gauge like what I want to do there as far as how I want the other buildings to be. I've seen some nice examples of finish, but I'm still like, I don't know. I feel like if they were just sketches, it wouldn't have been such a if it were just sketches, it wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been so invested in those buildings, cuz now I've made 3D. I have a 3D surround, so like I want to show those things off. You get what I mean? This is another like small experiment I did with like a table. And this is what the Watchtowers was supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a one-off, a one-time thing where I practice my rendering skills. Like again, this one was also without texture. So like if you take everything away, it's pretty much just the grayscale 3D. So if I move this above everything, it's pretty much just that. You know, and then I go in and I add all the colors and then it ends up looking like that. I could have easily added some colors on there and in Blender and then just adjusted it afterwards, but I just wanted to experiment with a different approach to it, and this one didn't take a long time to render, so I just made the table and just, that was that prop. And like I said, that's what the Watchtower was supposed to be. But now it's 5 buildings. Dude, I am screwed. I have to figure out somehow how to like see, and then some of the like I have to figure out how to make all of these finished well without it taking my whole life. like I'm gonna post this and then I need to I'm gonna take a break and then move to something else. But I'm still weirded out right now because I don't know how I want to handle these tiles. I might literally just hide them all and give it the same approach that I did with the house, because I just don't think it needs that much investment as far as the roof goes. But maybe, I don't know, maybe if you guys see something that I'm not seeing, that'd be great. But anyways, that's what else was I going to talk about? Yeah, so basically since my last video, like I said, I have this full-time job, so it's kind of, it's a full-time job. So I'll just say that. I'm trying, like right now, I finally got my permit because in high school I was an idiot. I didn't pay attention to the things I should have been doing. So I'm learning how to drive now so that I can get, fast travel option to a job that's closer or something. Because right now my friend takes me to work. Best friend ever, man. He takes me to work and then I just Uber home, and that shit's costing like a car payment on its own, trust me. But like, thanks to them being so nice, I've been able to save up a lot of money. And Once I learn to drive, I can start getting a car and all that whole process. And then the whole thing with that, dude, is to just not get a car that's too expensive that I wouldn't be able to afford outside of this full-time job. Because eventually, it's either like I use this money that I have to take some courses and pay rent for a while and just focus on that solely, or you know, B, who the fuck knows. I like at this point it's just like my whole plan after FCD wasn't to be working at a full time, like at some bakery, 8 hours a day and getting these weird days off. Like for some reason they give me Tuesday and Saturday off. Dude, what the hell can I do? What are you gonna do with that? You get what I mean? Like all your friends are off. Like it goes unsaid. So there's a lot of things that I'm trying to fix, that could potentially give me more time to spend on design and all that. Um, and then you know, I'm also trying to figure out, the whole like applying for jobs thing. I've been working on my resume, um, through resume building websites and all that. And I got an art test with one company. I didn't pass it, but I learned so much from it. I gotta make a video on that sometime soon. I don't think I'll be able to go into specifics because of NDA, but communication is everything, man. And I think we both made some pretty decent mistakes there. Um, but yeah, I at the end of it all, I decided not to take the payment and just keep the design or whatever. So that's what I did. So they were saying like I could use it for personal work, so like public or like a portfolio or whatever. So I'll probably in my next video go over that and just show some of it. But yeah, I don't know how the fuck you made it to the end of this video, but I hope you have a good one. And just remember, just when you see all those videos out there with people making all these art vlogs and studio tours and stuff, just know that stuff didn't come overnight. Just know it didn't come overnight, and chances are they didn't do it alone. I didn't do anything. FZD was not on my own. I did not pay for that out of my pocket, off of only my work. I didn't I didn't get my skills off of only my work. My friends encouraged me and got me through those hard parts, and my teacher did, and I did what I could on my part. No one does all these things alone. So don't think you have to make some shit out of thin air and catch up to all these people online, because it's just, I don't think that's how things work, really. And yeah, I don't really know what else I can say. I gave you guys my morning on one of my work days. What else do you want from me? Yeah, if you guys have any ideas, or there's anything you guys want to see, like I'll continue looking through some of the old comments and maybe make a checklist of things you guys brought up a lot. But yeah, I'm still going at it. So even though I might not post so much, pitting myself out there and being so transparent is a very hard thing to do, especially around a lot of people who they act like their shit doesn't stink, like everyone's perfect, and no one makes all these mistakes and everyone gets it on the first try. I just try to be realistic. I don't want some kid out there to get the wrong idea of anything, and hopefully that's helped a lot. But making these videos is very stressful. I always wonder if I made like myself seem like too much of an idiot. I don't see anybody else doing that. I don't see anybody else like being honest about the things they don't know and don't understand. It's a very scary process. Or at least in this case, wanting to be a concept artist, people don't really understand what that is as many times as you try to explain it to them. So, yeah, it can be a very frustrating thing. My parents and my grandma, she, they eventually understood what I was going for, but having to kind of re-explain that, and just seeing the looks on people's faces, and no one cares about that. When I go to work, people ask me, what do I do outside of work? And if I say like study or I draw or something like that, that's just not normally taken to, people are like, it's just kind of looked at really weird. Especially if you're doing like a manual labor job. Just if you're ever in that kind of scenario, for the one person that might be listening to this in the same situation, just keep going at it. And keep your head up, man. You guys gotta realize, for every person out there taking some crazy cool picture where they're hanging out and all that stuff, there's a lot of stuff people also don't show. And I hope I give a little bit of a glimpse into that. You aren't gonna get things the first time around. Holy shit, this video is almost an hour. Okay, bye. I'll see you guys later. Where's my mouse set? Okay.